Hey, what's up, boxing fans? I'm Miguel Maravilla. I am here with Shane Mosley Jr. off his victory over Gabriel Rosado. Sorry, Shane. Let's talk about this victory over Gabriel Rosado.
Um, yeah, I thought it was a pretty convincing victory. I felt like um, I showed my boxing ability and my skill, and yeah, I looked like I was a better fighter that night.
What was it like in that ring with a fighter like Rosado, man? Like, what was the experience like?
It was an incredible experience, invaluable. I saw what a warrior he was, and how much he was willing to engage and fight and bring the fight to me. Um, but I had my game plan and I stuck to it.
What was it about that fight? What was it about him that just made him that veteran fighter that we all know? What?
Well, his timing is pretty impeccable. Um, I think when um, he he knows how to time guys like as they're throwing shots, and things like that. So I was very weary about really engaging because just like anything like boxing or fighting, you're the most open when you're throwing a punch, right? Because you have one, you know, basically one door open. So um, I knew that I had to punch and move. If I stayed engaged with him, he was going to time me and could potentially knock me out. So um, that's one of the reasons why I stayed boxing, and that also was to my benefit because I was able to show like me hitting him and him not hitting me, right? And to the judges, to everybody in the crowd, and everybody watching, you see one guy landing shots and one guy not. So I felt like that was beneficial. Of course, it could have been more exciting if we're both like landing big shots, right? But you're not going to see a um, you know, clear punches, and also you're not going to. I mean, you potentially can get knocked out, either one of us, right? So rather than taking that gamble, I went with the strategy of outboxing it.
How confident were you in that ring? How throughout the fight, what was it? What was the feeling like for you? At any point where in your head were you guaranteeing that you already had this fight under you?
No, I mean it's never guaranteed until it's over. So you always have that. You always have that fear, or not fear, but like that awareness. I mean, you're always kind of like, all right, like anything could happen. You know what I mean? And he did. Um, you know, he buzzed me with a shot with the right hand when I threw my left hook. I think it was like in the second or third round. And you know, it was just kind of like, okay, like this guy is dangerous. He can really hurt you. You know what I mean? So you have to be very very careful. And I knew that going into the last round. That's why, you know, um, in the last round, he had kind of pleaded with me, or he didn't kind of plead with me. He pleaded with me. He said, "Come on, fight me." Like, and that's why I put my hands up. If you saw me in one of those, that round, I'm like, "Nah, man, that's your game. I'm not doing that because that's the only way you can win." Especially at that point, like,
Yes.
everybody had him down. It was like I knew that, but it's like, I'm not gonna, even if that's not the case, I'm not gonna even give you a chance to knock me out. Why? So that's why I did that. I think it kind of went. That was a moment where it's kind of cool to have that exchange. I look back and I'm like, yeah, like I was talking back to him. So that was kind of cool. But yeah, I just went to outbox.
Awesome. Following your victory, what'd your father have to say about this win? And have you spoken? Obviously, you've spoken to him about this victory.
Yeah. He was very, very proud. He cried. It was a big moment for him, and I love that he was able to share that moment with me. Well, I mean, as far as like sharing this training camp with me, he had come down to the boxing gym and just came to Las Vegas to support me and the process and stuff like that. So it was really cool to I think it was really cool for him to see like what was talked about and training, and was able to do that. And he had given me a lot of like tips on just mental stuff, and also just things to be aware of, and it helped. I realized how much like knowledge my dad had, and how great he was at breaking a fighter down. Like, it was kind of interesting because he broke Rosado down in 5 minutes, like less than 5 minutes, he broke him down. I was like, this is insane. But it shows you how great he is. You know what I mean? Like, it was really interesting because when he told me in those 5 minutes, like I called him, I was like, hey, I got this fight. And he was like, all right, I'm gonna watch it. He calls me back 5 minutes. I'm thinking like, he has a question or something like that. He calls me back in 5 minutes. He's like, I got it. This is what you do. You know what I mean? And, of course, I didn't take only his information out. Of course, there was other things that I saw with Bones, had his input as well. But what he had told me had really stuck. And so with all that being said, just having him around, having the information, knowing like how big of a fight this was for me, this is the biggest fight of my life, he was very, very proud, and how I executed everything, and how I made him look. You know what I mean? Because nobody really thought I should even be fighting Rosado. They thought it was going to be a wash. They thought it was just going to be like, oh, he's going to just run over Shane. Shane has no business being in the ring with him. And then I go and I show them the opposite. It was like, whoa. How does a guy like that do that to that guy who just knocked out this guy and had a pretty tough fight with Munguia? How does a guy like Shane with 4 losses, and he lost to Jason Quigley, how does that guy do that to Rosado? And it's what it is.
Good stuff, man. Where does that leave you at now? Where where do you see yourself, and what do you want?
Well, I want to be a world champion, and so I'm going to take the steps to doing that. Me and my team at Golden Boy are going to figure out a way to get to a world championship. I think that the most opportunity as of right now is going to be at 160. So I think that would be in my best interest to go there and claim some belts.
Good luck to you, man. Congrats on your victory, man. Very, very exciting win. There you have it, Shane Mosley Jr., as he looks to begin his campaign at 160. Good luck to you, man.
Thank you, brother.